Why isn't Russell Wilson the answer?
It's been tough to protect Russell back there. And look, Russell's not the tallest of quarterbacks, so there's times where you see him and he's trying to navigate his way around because there's pressure in the middle of the pocket and try to see things.
Why Goff over Justin if we're doing this right now?
I think it's because I know Goff is getting to a point where it's more expected. I think Herbert just got to continue to prove it.
Quarterback for 15 years in the NFL. What is it like to see those highlights, Brian?
Well, I was waiting for the 7 other teams that I was playing on, see if you guys could get it from all 9 teams. But no, those were great times.
Brian.
No, I know. Yeah, we don't have all day. Yeah, those were special times. I mean, Cleveland, playing for your hometown team is always special. And now I'm still here living in New England. I feel like I'm a Patriot for life. They take great care of me. And getting to watch a new regime here and Drake Maye. And, man, I just love football. And so thanks for having me on to talk about it a little bit.
Axel Edward, why don't you go by that? Why?
It's my dad's name, and my mom was like, we can call him that on his birth certificate, but I'm calling him Brian. So I've always been Brian from the day I was born. It is a pretty sweet name, though, so if I could go back in time, maybe I would have switched it.
I knew you in New England, loved you in New England. We just had Gronk on. We didn't get to hit and talk about Drake Maye. It's year 2 for him, right? He's a sophomore quarterback. There have been some sophomore things, some rookie things, like he's gone through it or whatever. There's been a lot of change, of course. But we're seeing stuff, good stuff. Like, we're taking steps in the right direction. Some turnovers, sure, whatever. From your eyes, what are you seeing? What's like the single specific improvement that you've seen from year 1 to year 2?
Yeah, I think especially starting in week 2 against Miami, he just looks so comfortable out there in charge. And I think having Josh McDaniels, a guy that I'm pretty familiar with, having him out there to coach him through some of these things, you've seen the improvement. I mean, he's in the top 10 in basically every passing category right now. And as you see right there, still running the ball in as well. So he has a lot of talent. And I think each and every week you see him make those improvements. He feels more and more comfortable running that offense. And the one thing that I noticed actually being here in training camp was just the level of competency he was running this scheme. He's getting up there, he's changing protection, he's alerting plays. He didn't have to do a lot of that last year. And I think now he's realizing it's my job to put the offense in the best play, and you see him doing it. Even that touchdown right there to Pop Douglas you showed, it was all out blitz. He knew exactly where to go, made sure that he had the right protection, and delivered a dime.
Pat's 5.5-point faves at home against the Panthers. Both teams 1 and 2. Who wins and why?
I think the Patriots win. Look, I mean, the reality is when you turn the ball over 5 times like they did against the Steelers last week, you're not going to win the game. But it was close at the end. I think if they just pick that up of protecting the football, they should win these games. The defense played really well last week. And other than the turnovers, the offense was moving the ball up and down the field. And 2 of those turnovers came within the 2-yard line. So that's taking points off the board. I think they improve. Vrabel's not going to stand for it. He's already talked about it. I think they make those adjustments and they win.
We've got Jaxson Dart making his start week 4 this week against the Chargers. Tough defense. Why isn't Russell Wilson the answer? Why, when I'm watching this game, am I like, what's happening out there with this Super Bowl champion quarterback? What happened? Or was it like this all along and I'm not smart enough to have seen it? Like, what's the deal?
No, I think, look, it's tough to go from place to place, system to system. And ultimately, the thing when I've watched the Giants this year, it's been tough to protect Russell back there. And look, Russell's not the tallest of quarterbacks. So there's times where you see him and he's trying to navigate his way around because there's pressure in the middle of the pocket and try to see things. And so sometimes, look, I saw it with Aaron Rodgers the other day at this Patriots game. I was there and he got some pressure up in his face and he goes to throw an in cut. He doesn't even see Robert Spillane because even Aaron can't see over those guys when they get that close to you. So I've been there before. You're looking at the coverage. You're like, man, I think this should be open. We're throwing to an open spot. Man, I didn't see the linebacker there. So I think with Russell, I mean, there's just the Giants need to get in a rhythm where they're running the ball, they're play actioning to get him comfortable, and they just haven't been able to do that.
That's great insight. And I'm 5 feet tall, so look, I could very much commiserate with that.
I don't think people understand how many times as an NFL quarterback, I don't care how tall you are, there's people moving around, so you're going off of what the coverage was, where the safeties are, where players are supposed to be, and you might see the top of your receiver's helmet, and you're thrown to a spot. And so sometimes, people are like, well, how could he not see that guy? Well, there's 3 6'5" dudes in front of him blocking, so it's part of the game.
I mean, from like an ignorant place, I want to say he used to see them. Like we've seen him thrive. So like what, I still like, he didn't get shorter. What happened?
He didn't get shorter. I think there's also part of the rhythm and the comfortability, and I just don't think you've seen that. I mean, a little bit when they were able to get the offense going against Dallas, and I thought the Giants actually protected really well in that game, and so he was able to have time, and no one throws a deep ball better than Russell, and he was able to get some of those deep shots. But going back to last week, he wasn't able to do it, and so when you get out of balance and you're not able to do it, sometimes you have that uncomfortability back there.
I mean, are we somehow, some way, underrating the impact and importance of Marshawn Lynch? Because some would say he had Marshawn to lean on. Like, is there a world where it's like, man, we didn't, like, he was that important?
Yeah, 100%. And any quarterback who says that, they don't, the running game isn't important, they're lying to you, because the reality is when you have a steady running game, you're able to play on your terms. And you don't want to, for Russell Wilson, you don't want to be dropping back and drop back protections and passing the ball 40 times a game. You want to be balanced. You want to run the football. You want to have some play action, some quick games, get them out on the move. And they just haven't been able to do that. When you get behind and you're having to throw the football all the time, it's just not in the rhythm that he's probably played his best football at.
I feel like he has a lot of deep shots. Like, he thrived on the outside. And so I don't know if, like, when he had success, where he had success, he had to do the calculus in the middle of the field as much. Like, he wasn't like having to decipher what was going on. That's from my fan vantage point, sort of maybe what I'm seeing. And then I don't know where he's going to thrive or what's going to happen. It's sort of crazy.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, for a guy who was such a great player and for, like, as you mentioned, won a Super Bowl.
Successful player. Yeah,
successful player, and I don't think that he's not successful anymore. I still look at him. He's a really good player. It's just sometimes, and we've talked about this. I do a little radio with SiriusXM with Solomon Wilcots. We just talk about, a little plug there, we just talk about, the quarterback being in the right situation and the right timing and the right people around him. And look, Russell was trying to find a spot to land and continue his career. I think he will still continue to play. It's just unfortunate that the pieces, I think, around him aren't there. I mean, how much better would it be if they still had Saquon Barkley? Look what he was able to do to the Eagles team. So, you got to be able to do that. And now you're going to put Jaxson Dart in that role and hope that he has a little rookie magic. He's maybe a little bit more mobile. He can move around. Maybe you have some zone reads, things like that, and try to maybe overcome some of the deficiencies in the offense. I think they got to be excited about him pairing with Malik Neighbors and Scatterby.
Sure.
I mean, you got three young pieces right there.
Scatterby last week's bouncing off people like he did in college, even though their offensive line is a tragedy, and hopefully they fix it. We asked you to do some homework. You, as the consummate pro that you are, you turned it in early. You're an unbelievable guy. We asked you to, what did we ask you? The top 5 quarterbacks right now?
Right now, right? That's what we're saying. We're saying after 3 weeks,
Okay, take me through them.
Well, Josh Allen, MVP, still playing at a high level. Lamar, his passing gets better each and every week. Jared Goff, even without Ben Johnson, on fire. Justin Herbert, this is what I expected him always to be. And Baker, Baker's playing lights out, 3 comeback wins. Why
Goff over Justin if we're doing this right now?
I think it's because I know Goff is getting to a point where it's more expected. I think Herbert just got to continue to prove it.
And then Baker at 5. I get to talk to Emeka Egbuka this weekend. I'm so excited.
I love him. He's a stud.
I know, it's like he's a dream. He's an absolute dream. So, and by the way, like Mahomes is watching Emeka Egbuka catches and being like, oh, I would like to have that. What is it about? Like, can Baker take this team all the way, Brian?
I think so. You see a level of maturity. I love watching him talk now about where he's at. He talked about, having to go through those tough times have led him to where he's at. And it's just something like you're watching that field goal get blocked. I'm like, there's a lot of time left. Like, that's how I start to feel about Baker Mayfield. So I'm happy for him. And I think it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great barometer for the Bucs when they play the Eagles this weekend.
At what point does Daniel Jones crack that list for you?
He's getting there. I love another reclamation project at quarterback.
That's what we're calling it.
It's amazing.
I call it story arc. I call it narrative changing. You call it reclamation project?
Yeah.
Only you can see it. Brian, will you come back?
Of course, anytime.
Where can we watch you on Sirius with Solomon Wilcots? When?
Thursdays at 7 a.m. and Quick Snap podcast with David Andrews.
Okay, we're going to get that all out there. David Andrews, I love it. All right, thanks, Brian.
Thank you.